You ought to have the nouns occurring 500 to 5,000 times sheet. Does anybody need that? Make sure you have that, because we're going to read from that this afternoon. It says, Hebrew nouns occurring to frequency of occurrence, lists 7 Roman numeral, nouns occurring 500 to 5,000 times. Everyone has that sheet? Yes. Okay. Second, I handed out, or we had handed out, Hebrew exercise 2. Does everybody have 2? Okay. I got one there for Wolfgang. There should be more. I need that one for myself. Okay. But I made like 20 of them.
So number 3.
Here's exercise 2. Noun sheet? Oh, that's not, no, that's verbs.
Okay.
I may not have any extra of that. Why wouldn't I have extra of that? I don't have any extra noun sheets. So let's start this way. Does everybody have Hebrew exercise 1? Yes. Okay, everyone's got that? Okay, take that out. Okay, that's 1. Does everybody have exercise 2? Okay, let's take that out. Does everybody have the list of verbs? Nouns. Right, everyone's got that? Okay, so let's start with exercise 1 because we have done this before. So I'm going to go around the room and we'll each get a chance to read this for one another. So you're looking at Hebrew exercise 1. Everybody got this sheet? All right? So Rodney, why don't you lead us off with, on exercise 1, right side, the word is? Me. Now together, our letter is the letter? Mem. And the vowel is the vowel? Hirik, Yod. Okay? You need to see those together because that is so you know what you should have out? I don't know how you guys have arranged your own stuff, but I would have this where I could see it because I understand this vowel chart. That's what I would have out. And you probably know the letters by now. But the vowels are a little more challenging. But they'll become more familiar. So we've got me, mem, hirik, yod. Syllable. Is it a closed or open syllable? Open. It's open because it is?
Consonant.
Vowel. Consonant. So let me put this up here. When we talk about syllables, I'm going to go right to left as if we were reading Hebrew, right? So if we have a consonant followed by a vowel, it equals what kind of a syllable? Open. If it is consonant, vowel, consonant, it equals closed. Okay, Ron?
Even though that's in the consonant yod, it's really not yod.
It's a vowel, hirik yod. That's correct. The more we work with this, the more second nature it will become. So we just got to give it some time. And I know I wrote the C. Did I write the C backwards? I get confused. Okay, but we're going this way. So consonant, vowel is open. Consonant, vowel, consonant is closed. That's important because you wouldn't pronounce this word mi. I mean, it's really impossible to do this anyway. But it's me because hirik yod sounds like, what's the vowel sound of hirik yod? E. Okay? The mem consonant sound is m. So we do me. Okay? Just so we're overdoing it, but there it is. Wendy, our second word going down. Who? Okay? So give us the spelling of the word.
Hey,
Yes?
Vav Holem,
Yeah, now the vav holem like that is called a shurik.
Shurik.
Okay? Shurik. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Shurik. That's when you have the vav with a dot in the middle. And what does the vav and the dot in the middle sound like? Ooh. So that's a shurik. That's how you try to remember the name of it. Ooh. So we got the hey, shurik,
Aleph,
aleph. And aleph sounds like? Silent. So the word is pronounced who? And is it an open syllable or closed?
open.
Closed. Because you have consonant, vowel, consonant. Hey is consonant. Shurik is vowel. Aleph is a consonant. Consonant, vowel, consonant, closed. Everybody good? Okay. Marlene.
He,
He. Okay, what is the letters?
I know the middle one is Yod.
Okay, first letter.
I'm looking at
Letter. Let's help each other. Letter. Hey. First letter is the letter hey. The vowel is the Hirik Yod. There you go. And the last consonant is the letter Aleph. Syllable. Open or closed? Closed. Because we've got hey, consonant. Hirik Yod, vowel. Aleph is a consonant. He. Okay? The meaning of me is
Me is
who? That's an interrogative. Who? The word who means he. So that is third masculine plural pronoun. He. Okay? First person singular pronoun is I. I. Second person pronoun is you. Third person is he. Okay? So that's what the persons mean. First person refers to you. Second person refers to them. Third person refers to others. Okay? Me, I is first person singular. I. What's first person plural? We. Talk about, always remember, first person includes you. So first person singular is I. First person plural is we. Second person is you. Second person plural is you all. Okay? Now if we're in Texas, yeah, if you're in Jersey, it's yous. If you're in Texas, it's you all. Now, the reason I mention this is because we're gonna learn these things. I'm printing it now. We'll learn it later. You'll say, that's what he's talking about. But here's my point. Second person plural is easily distinguished in Hebrew. It's not easily distinguished in English. Because you can be you singular, Wendy, or it can be you plural, Wedney, Rodney, and Marlena. So I want you to open to this page, but I want you to open to that page. Follow me? Yes. Don't follow me, I call the cops. The point is, you can be singular or it can be you plural. English, the only way you know if it's singular or plural is how? Context. You have to know the context. Or you have to ask a question. If I say, hey, I want you guys to open it up, you might say, all of us? No, just all of you at this table. So you need context. But in Hebrew, you don't. Now, the problem in the Bible is, if the Bible translates, I want you to go to Egypt, you don't know whether the you is plural or singular based on the word in the text. Because in English, there's no way to distinguish it. You need the context. But in Hebrew, there's a form that distinguishes it for us. Everybody with me? Yes. Okay, we're not there yet. But we're going to get there and you're going to say, where did I hear that before? You may not even remember. But it will sound like something is being brought up from memory that you've memorized or that you've heard before. And that's a good thing. First person, I. Singular. First person plural? We. Second person singular? You. Second person plural? You all. Third person singular? He. Third person plural? They. Okay, everybody good? Yes. Now, there's one other thing, and that is gender. So that sometimes we say you masculine or you feminine. Now, in Hebrew, everything is masculine and singular. In English and Greek, for example, there are 3 genders. Masculine, feminine, neuter. But you don't have a neuter form in Hebrew. So everything is masculine or feminine. So technically, if we were to say, would you close the door? Would you close it? You would say, would you close her? But we know from the context, we're not talking about a person. We're talking about a thing. So when we translate it to English, we have to use a different word that doesn't exist in Hebrew. Okay? So just saying, because we said you could say I or we, you could say you or you all, or you could say he or she. So the reason we could say she is because now we've got a feminine thing. In English, we could say he, she, or it. But in Hebrew, you can only say he or she. And the context will determine whether we put it into English with a neuter term. Everybody good? Yes. Okay? Don't want to get too far down the road, but, we're going to get there at some point. Okay, so we have me is who is he is she. Okay, Lily. We're on our 4th word going on down. Okay, so the word is davar. Okay, let's say it together. Davar. Now, what is our, how do we spell it?
Dalet, comment, Beth, Mat, on, the last one is R.
Yes, last word, letter, what's the letter? Resh. So we have the Daled, the bait without a dot, and we have the resh. Now, when I ask you to spell a word, you don't have to tell me the vowels, right? The spelling of the word doesn't include the vowels. Why? There are no vowels in our words. We put vowel symbols to pronounce it. So the word is actually spelled Daled Vav Resh. Now, if I ask you what vowels are associated with the word davar, you would say the 2 kamatzes. Okay, everybody good? Yes. So it's I'm sorry. Hold on. How many syllables does davar have? 2. First syllable is? No. Open or closed? Open. And our first syllable is an open syllable. What constitutes it as an open syllable? Consonant vowel, but what is the consonant vowel? Are the consonant vowel? Dalet and kamatz. That's our first syllable. It's an open syllable because it's Dalet and kamatz. It's open. The second syllable is closed. Why is it closed?
Because it's got a consonant, vowel, and consonant.
Okay, so our consonant, vowel, consonant. Beit, kamatz, resh. Consonant, vowel, consonant. So let me just put this on the board just for us to see for a moment. We have davar. So our syllables are here. Consonant, vowel, open. Consonant, vowel, consonant, closed. Everybody can see that? Okay. Miriam, why don't you give us the next word? We have me, who, he, davar. Yeah, but read the word first. Adam. Okay? Spell the word for us. Okay, you don't have to give us the vowel. What's the D? Dalid, and Mem. Okay? Aleph, Dalid, Mem. And what are our vowels, Miriam? What are our vowels? Kamatz, 2 kamatzes. Now, Adam, how many syllables? 2. And how would you characterize our 2 syllables? First syllable is open. Second syllable is? Okay. So we have Adam. And so our first syllable, I get different, I'm not going to take the time. But we've got consonant, vowel, means it is open. And we have consonant, vowel, consonant, closed. Everybody sees that? Yes. Okay. Laura, why don't you read for us the next verse? Next word. Bottom right. Say again? Okay, how do we pronounce it? Bayit. Okay? So, now, the reason why the syllables are important is it helps us to pronounce it. Adam. It's not pronounced Ad-am. Everybody good? Yes. It's Adam. Now we have this word, Bayit. Hold on. We have Bayit. You don't pronounce it by it. Although when you see a house, what do you want to do? Buy it. But you don't pronounce it that way. The syllables here are 2. Consonant, vowel, open. Consonant, vowel, consonant, closed. So it's pronounced ba-yit, not by it. It's not pronounced dav-ar. It's pronounced da-var. Everybody good? Yes. That's why syllables are important. So all you need are 3 things to read Hebrew. The consonants, the vowels, and the syllables. And then you can read any Hebrew word. Okay? So Laura, bayit. What does the word bayit mean? House.
How do you know where to place the emphasis? The last 2 words is just in the opposite.
Yeah, there are rules. That's where the long, short vowel stuff comes in. And where the accents are. So when we get a Hebrew text, I'm going to point out, you're going to say, what is that mark? It's an accent. It's a mark to help sing it, but we use them as accents, and that helps you to know where the accent is. I'm just telling you right now where the accent is. But there are marks for it. Yeah. And there are also, where there aren't marks, there are certain rules. Now we start getting into a little bit of more minutia that I don't want to go there.
All I want to know is
but there's a rationality to it. Yeah, I get it. Okay, Adela. Oh, sorry. Bayit. Uh-huh.
The last one is Beth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is a tough. So, so how do you spell bayit? Beit, yod, tough. What are the vowels associated with bayit? What's the first one? Patach. And the second one? Hirik. Patach and a hirik are our vowels. Okay? Adela, top of the left-hand column. Shalom. So would you spell the word for us? Don't have to give us the vowels. Shin. Excuse me? No. Shin. What's the second consonant? Lamed. It's a lamed. And then what's our third letter? Mem. So shalom is spelled with 3 letters. Shin, lamed, mem. Okay? So let me just put this here. Here's our shin, lamed, mem. Okay? Then give us our vowels. The kamatz. Okay? And the vowel. It's pronounced O. What's it called? What's our vowel here? Holam Vav. Okay, the dot on top is a Holam. It's accompanied with the Vav, so it's a Holam Vav. Okay, no, a Holam Vav. You always say what the vowel point is. Okay, Hirik Yod, Kamatz Yod, Seri Yod, Kamatz Hey, and here it's Holam Vav. Okay, now the word Shalom. How many syllables? 2. What's our first syllable? First syllable is open. And Adela, what constitutes the open syllable? Okay, what's the open syllable? Shin, kamatz. Okay, here's a consonant vowel. It's open. And the second part is closed. The lamed is a consonant. The holam vav is a vowel. The mem is a consonant. Consonant, vowel, consonant. It is closed. Okay? Everybody's good?
Yes. When we speak of these words or spell them out, we don't say final mem, we just say mem. Know that you write it that way.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Now, yes. Now you're going to know. I want you to note. What do you notice so far about these words? They're hard. This is a vav with a dot on top. So it's a whole. The dot on top is called a holam. If we wanted to, we could actually write shalom another way. How might you write it another way? How would you write it another way? Well, first of all, what are our consonants in shalom? What are they? Shin, lamed, mem. Okay? Now we got to get the a-o. We wrote it here one way. How could we write it? I guess I put it backwards, didn't I? How could we write it another way? Shalom. No. Then it would change the spelling. Remember, our words are spelled with consonants. So they're not changeable without changing the meaning of a word. So we need to look at the vowels. So shalom, we've got the kamatz. What can we do with the om? What was that?
We could put a patal there.
Wait, hold on a little. What did you say, Ron?
Instead of a kamatz, we could put a patal there.
No, not really, because there are certain rules with regard to certain vowels. Yeah, they both sound the same, but they're not used in the same way. However, this vowel is. The vowels, remember, are not consonants, so they're just added to give us the sound, right? So in this case, especially these compound vowels, we can alternate certain things. So if we wanted to write shalom a different way, we could just use a holam, shalom, and it doesn't change it. The kamatz would, but not the holam. I know. So, but my point is, the holam vav is not a consonant; it's a vowel, whereas the holam is a vowel, and you would see it. You will see it that way in the Bible, both ways. Yeah, you'll see it both ways. Okay, so shalom. Still, it's 2 syllables, and it's still open and closed. Just the symbol for the same vowel sound is shaped differently. Okay, Linda. So what's under shalom?
Raquel.
Not Raquel, but Rachel. Okay? How do we spell it?
Resh
Yes?
and Het
Yes?
and Lamed.
Okay, Resh, Het, Lamed. And under the Resh we have a Kamatz, and under the Het we have a Sere. Okay? Wonderful. So we've got Ra, Chel, and so we got the Kamatz, the Seri. How many syllables? 2. The first is, second is. Okay, so I don't need to keep writing this, right? It's all you're seeing the pattern continues to emerge. You're also seeing something else, and that is in Hebrew. Almost every I'm not going to say nouns necessarily, but verbs can all be reduced to 3 letters. I'm going to show you why in a short while. But so the root word, the root of any given word, and certainly any given, just about every verb, can be reduced to 3 consonants. So anyway, let's leave it at that for now, okay? Which makes a Hebrew fairly simple in that respect. It's not a lot of complicated things. We've got all these different vowels in here, but as you can see, these are 3 basically consonant words. Now, nouns, different story, but verbs, we're going to find that the root form, which is the smallest form, shortest form of a verb, is going to be in 3 consonants. We'll talk more about that. These are just things thrown out there so that when it comes back up, you'll say, you did say that, and it's in there somehow. So, Carlton, what's our word under Rachel?
Yosef.
Okay, Yosef. And so, how do we spell Yosef? Yod.
Samet, and
Pei. Okay, final pei. Notice the thing goes all the way down, right? So, Yod, Samek, Pei. What are our 2 vowels?
2 vowels is the Olam Vav
And
and the
Seren. Okay, how many syllables?
2
First one is?
is the Yod.
Syllables.
Oh, syllable.
First one is?
Oh, it's open.
Open. And the second one is?
Closed.
Closed. Everyone's good? Okay. Craig, you want to read for us under... By the way, do you all know Craig? Do you get a chance to meet Craig? Craig has come to our Bible study Thursday night in Valencia, which he lives right down the block from our facility there, so he's come a long way. So he comes to the Bible study on Thursday night and has come to the services on Saturday night. So it's great to have you here. Yeah. So under Yosef is David. And how do we spell David?
Dalet, Vav, Dalet.
Okay. And our 2 vowels are?
2 vowels of Kamat.
And the Hirik. Hirik. H-I-R-E-Q. Hirik. So the kamats and the hirik. Syllables, how many syllables? 2. And our first syllable is open. And the second is closed. Everybody sees that? I just want to make sure we're not running too far ahead. Okay, Ron. Are you ready to, because Emma, you're not, you can't read it, right? Okay. So, Ron.
Okay, the word is Natan.
Natan is correct. How do we spell it?
Nun, To, Nun.
Okay. And we've got 2 vowels.
First vowel is open.
No, vowels. Yes.
First vowel is Kamat.
Yes.
Second vowel is Kamat.
Yes. And the 2 syllables are?
Open.
Yes. Okay. Now, Rodney, our last word is, would you read that for us? Okay. Vihoshaphat. Okay. Vihoshaphat. Okay. So that is the name Jehoshaphat. Okay. But it's Vihoshaphat. Okay. Now, have you all met Chai? Oh, what a joy to see you, Patricia. So these are Valencia crowd. So Chai, do you live in?
I live in Valencia.
You live in Valencia, and Patricia, you're in
The other side of the moon.
the other side of the moon. So these are folks all the way from our Santa Clarita ministry. That's all, by the way, Marlena is too. You live up where?
In Castaic.
Where?
Castaic.
Oh, Castaic.
Yeah, about 10 miles north of Valencia.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Marlena comes even north of Valencia. Wow. Wow, I feel honored to know that. We're blessed. Okay, So we have the, hold on, the Hoshaphat, okay? With this, I do want to, I'm going to use a different color thing. And Kai, if you would just share with Patricia for now, we've got about 20 minutes or so. But, look up here. Can everybody read this, by the way? Is it much too small?
Too small. It's too small. Yeah.
Okay. And I really wrote that pretty well. All right. So I'll try to make this a little bigger. Oh, okay. Well, but you know, it doesn't really matter what it is in English because the English doesn't really pronounce it like the Hebrew. You know, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so guys, look up here for a minute. Rodney had correctly read this word, V'Hoshaphat. So now here's why syllables close open are important. Because you're not going to read this V'Hoshaphat. You know, we have to have closed and open. So and you cannot start a syllable with a vowel. Remember, our open syllable is consonant, vowel. Our closed syllable is consonant, vowel, consonant. So you can never start a syllable with a vowel. Put another way, you always start a syllable with a consonant, right? So we have consonant, vowel, consonant. If we put the syllable here, we have a problem. What's our problem? We're starting with a vowel. We can't start with a vowel. We have to start with a consonant. So if we were reading that and we were about to go V-ho, you know, we're doing that wrong because we know what the rule is regarding syllables. So we need consonant, vowel. We could start with another consonant. So that's got to be our first syllable. Then we have consonant, vowel, consonant. Why can't we go closed here? Why can't we go closed here? Then we start the next syllable with a vowel. We can't start with a vowel. Every syllable starts with a consonant and a consonant. So we have to do consonant, vowel. That's our second syllable. Then we've got consonant, vowel, consonant. Can we do that? No. Why? Because then we start with a vowel. And we can't start syllables with vowels because they only start with consonants. So our next one has to be consonant, vowel, boom. And now we have our last syllable, which is consonant, vowel, consonant. So this is a word with 1, 2, 3, 4 syllables. So when we pronounce it, we're saying V'Hoshaphat. That's why syllables, knowing the syllables is important. You can't read the word properly if you don't have the syllables broken down properly. But that's true in any, like we don't say syllable, it's syllable. So we just know it by rote. Same thing happens here the more you get familiar with it. So our first syllable, open or closed? So this is an open syllable. Second syllable, open or closed? Open. Why is that open? What's our consonant? What's our vowel? Hirik Yod. Second one is open because it is, the first consonant is a, second vowel is at first, Holam Vav. Our third syllable is open or closed? Open. And what is our consonant and vowel is? Shin Kamas. Our last syllable, open or closed? Closed. It's closed because it is consonant, vowel, consonant. What's our consonant? Pei, without the dot. So it's got the PH, like in phone. Our vowel is a, and our consonant is a. So how do we pronounce it? Okay? And V'Hoshaphat is Jah-ho-sha-phat. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'm using English wrong. So now it gets kind of odd. It gets kind of funny. Now you say, wait a minute, this is V-ho. Why do we have J? Because in Hebrew, yod, the yod, it sounds like a Y. Yo. But in English, we also have another letter that sounds like a Y sound, and it is a J. And so in this instance, the translators chose this word, and I don't know all the grammatical rules why, the J over the Y, but it is the yod because it has Y. Let me give you another sort of illustration of this, if I could, because everybody's got that, right? And by the way, do you guys feel like I'm really getting this? That like a sort of like, yeah, that's making sense. I got it now, you know? Okay, hold on. So, to go like what? Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. But you're working on your fourth or fifth language. Third. So, our hats are off to you. So, okay, so let's take this word. Okay? I'm not even sure I spelt it right. I think I did. All right, so let's just look at this word for a minute. We've got to figure out the syllables. Can we go yish? Yish? If we went yish, what kind of syllable would we have? By the way, hold on. The two dots going down is a what? Shwa. Okay? So it's a vowel. If we had a closed syllable, yod, shwa, shin, I didn't put the dot there, but you would know. Shin, we can't do that. Why?
Because it's a vowel.
Vowel. And we can't start a syllable with a vowel. So it can't be yish. So it has to be yin. Okay? Our next syllable. We've got to go. Okay? So tell me what we got here. The letter and the vowel. Shurik. Okay? Everybody good? Shurik. That's a vowel. We can't start a syllable with a vowel. So it can't be closed. So it's got to be an open syllable here. So we have a 3-syllable word. How do we pronounce it? Okay? So this syllable is what? Open. This syllable is what? Open. This syllable is what? Open. Now, if we put it into English, the yod, if we were to just do it phonetically, the yod's going to be a Y. Because it's what? You just pronounced it. Yeah. And so, since it's yeah, we use an E. Now we got shoe. How are we going to spell shoe? And now we've got ah. You can do it that way or that way. They're both the same. No, hold on. Now, since the yod can be a Y, it can also be a J. And so this is the reason why you see the name Jesus, is because when you have the Hebrew name and then it's transcribed into the Greek, because Greek is a little different, and that is anglicized in English, you get Jesus. So it's gone through 3 changes. Hebrew, into Greek, into an anglicized form of English, and that leads us into what is Jesus. So, because in Greek, the name Yeshua doesn't come in as Yeshua. One of the reasons is there's no sh sound in Greek. There isn't a sh. So you have to play with it. So what the writers have is Yesu, Yesus. They don't even have Yesua. It's Yesu. Now, in one of the Syriac forms, I believe they do have a Yesua, but it comes into Greek as Yesu. Same thing. You got the yod, and in Greek it's an iota. So it comes in the same way. It can be a Y or a J, or it could even be an I. Now, because of the anglicized form of words, we'll see this, the prophet Isaiah. Say, Isaiah is spelt with an I. But in Hebrew, it's not Isaiah. It is a Yod. And it's something like Yeshayahu. It's different. But it's the same root, Yod, Shin, Ayin. Remember our root, I said before, almost all these words can be reduced to a smallest form, and they're usually related to verbs. So Yeshua is related to this word Yasha, Yod, Shin, Ayin. And what does Yasha mean? You know what it means. Save. It's the word for salvation. Because we know the name Yeshua means God is salvation. The Yod in the beginning is like an abbreviation for the sacred name of God, which is the unpronounceable name of God, Yud He Vav He, which oftentimes comes into English as Yah. We have to put a vowel in there, and with a W, Yahweh. And now I put it backwards, right? So it's like Yahweh, because when we bring the Vav into English, oftentimes it comes in as either a W or a V. So if you were reading the book Night, who wrote the book Night? One of the most important books you could read. If you've never read it, you should have read it. It's a book you'll read in one night. It's only about 100 pages. It is mandatory reading for any believer, and certainly any Jewish person and any believer that's concerned about the Jewish people. So Night is written by Eli. Well, what is it? Is it we sell or is it V sell? See, it's actually V sell because what you have in these languages is the movement of vavs with V's and W's. So you have a W in English. It's actually pronounced, because it's like German, although he's French, it's actually pronounced V-cell, not we-cell. I'm only trying to show you language, when words come into other languages through various pathways, you're going to see changes in the language, that is the word, when it moves from one language into the other. It should not be shocking, surprising, or raise questions. You know that the Vav can be W-ish or V-ish. You now know the Yod can be Y-ish, J-ish, I-ish, and H-ish. That's why the prophet Hosea has the same root as Yeshua. That's why the prophet Isaiah has the same root in Hebrew. It won't look different in Hebrew. You're going to see the same letters. We're only talking about getting it into an English readable form. Now, we might say we'd like it differently. Well, you're welcome to it. But when the King James translators do their translation and it becomes standardized, everything stays the same. You don't start messing with what's standardized, even if what's standardized may not be accurate, because it's what everybody knows. So now you can make the change. Like, we have some Messianic translations. You read some of it. It's odd. Why? Because things have been standardized, like to read Yochanan the Immerser. It's odd, right? It doesn't ring right. And the reason it doesn't ring right is not because it's inaccurate. It's because a standard expression has been established, and we're bucking what's standard. Now, we can do that, and we can just because we want to. We have a reason to. And you hear that sometimes I'll say Yochanan the Immerser, but because I know the audience is hearing an oddity, I'll say I'm referring to he who is commonly referred to as John the Baptist. But that's because I'm speaking to an audience where I might find Jewish people, and I'm trying not to erect any parameters, any problems, or any issues so that they hear the message. Because I don't want to have to constantly coming back and forth, explaining everything that is said, because I want them to hear the ultimate truth that all these things are pointing to. Does this make kind of a sense? These are choices you make. You know? So, but now that we're in this class and we're starting to look at Hebrew and we're saying, wait a minute, why is Jehoshaphat spelled with a J? Well, because the Yod can come into English as a J. It could be an I, but that wasn't chosen. Or an H, that too wasn't chosen. Now, if you want to go back and you want a Y because it's V, and you like the Y instead of Jehoshaphat, I want Yehoshaphat, you know? Well, you could do that. But it's not standardized, so we ought not to be surprised. Somebody reads our translation and says, I don't know who you're talking about. Okay?
Back to rules of syllables. Why is not the final syllable closed because it ends in ayin, which is a consonant?
Where are we talking?
Yeshua, back to the
Back here?
word that we're looking at.
It ends in a vowel, consonant vowel. Consonant vowel, consonant vowel.
Okay.
We good? Okay. All right. Now, is this kind of making sense? Is it sort of like saying, you know, I'm getting some of it, you know? What's that? It's getting there. And that's all. That's all. We want to be en route. Some of us have arrived. They'll wait for us. We'll get some tea and, you know, crumpets. The others are en route. We see you. They're coming. We're waving, you know, and we're all getting there. Okay. Is everybody good? I can erase this? Yes. All right. Take out Hebrew exercise 2. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing on 2 because I want to give you another sheet. Or maybe I gave it to you already that I want you to see. Okay, exercise 2. It may be on the back or something. I tried to get back in front. If not, that's fine. Okay, exercise 2. You have extra? Okay, it's coming over. All right, right side. Rodney completed the Yehoshaphat. So, Wendy. Shlomo. Okay, so we've got, so spell Shlomo for us.
Shin, Lamed, Mem, Hey.
Okay, vowels. Shua.
The Holam.
Yes.
Holam.
Okay, how would you break down our syllables? How many syllables do you see? Just give me a number.
1 is a 2, 3.
3. Okay, 3 syllables. Our first syllable is made up of what? Tell me the letter and the vowel.
Shin, Shwa.
Shua. Second syllable.
Lamed, Holam.
Third syllable.
Mem, Holam, Hey.
Okay, everybody got it? We don't, you see, we don't, now, so the first syllable is open. Second syllable is open. Third syllable is closed. Okay, Marlena. But we've got a vowel with it. Hold on, because Marlene is reading. We'll get it. Patach, yes. But read the word for me. Yeah, you want to be able to read.
So how do you get the letters into a word?
I don't know the answer to that. The only thing we can do is to see the symbol and know what the sound the symbol is making. Okay? So we won't push. Lily, if you could read this word for us.
The next one?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead. No. Go ahead. Read again. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Okay, let's all look up here. Now, remember, this is what's this vowel? Shua. When the shua follows a closed syllable, what does the shua do? It closes it. Okay? So when you see consonant, vowel, consonant, shua, think of the shua in that context as closing the syllable. Okay? And you say, why? Look, don't ask questions, just eat your spinach. You know?
You don't count it there as a vowel.
It is a vowel, but it's serving to close the closed syllable.
So it's consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel.
No, it's consonant, vowel, consonant, closed. Okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
So, if that's our syllable, how do we pronounce the first syllable? Av. Lily. How do we pronounce the second syllable? Ram. So how do we pronounce the word, Lily? Hold on, hold, guys. Shh. Lily, how do you pronounce the first syllable? No, that's just the first word, first letter. How do you pronounce the syllable?
Oh, Abi?
No, Av. The schwa closes the syllable. Let's put it this way. Let me do it this way. Guys, look up here for a minute. If I take the schwa out, how do you pronounce it? Av. Why? Why? It's closed, right? Consonant, vowel, consonant. When I add the schwa, what have I just done? What have I just done? I've closed the syllable. The syllable that is closed, I closed it. Okay? That's how I want you to think of it. That may not make sense to you, but it will help you to read. I want you to see the schwa as closing a syllable. Now listen. We're going to get to a point where we're going to see the schwa in other contexts. So it's important that you understand this much right now. We're going to build on that for some other sounds for it. Okay? So I just want you to put in your mind, when you consider the syllable, imagine the schwa is not there when it is. And how would you diagram that syllable? You'd say it's closed. Then think of the schwa as making this statement, it's closed. Okay? See it as a sign. Instead of a C for closed, see it as a sign that means closed, when it's in a closed syllable. Everybody good? Yes. Okay? So when you see it, Lily, we would pronounce this as... No, but the whole syllable. Av. Okay? Av. Now our second syllable, how would we pronounce it? Ram. Because we have the resh, kamatz, mem. So the whole word, how would you pronounce it? Avram. Avram. And Avram means, what does it mean? No, it's Abram, right? This is the name. Okay? So our patach comes in as the A, the beit comes in as the B, the resh is our R, the kamatz is an A, and the mem is an M. Some people in churches oftentimes pronounce this name how? Abram, not Abraham. Abram. But how should it be pronounced? Avram. So this is what starts happening. You start reading Hebrew names, you go into a church, and the guy talks about Abram, and you say, what? So you have to understand, and the reason I'm telling you this is because there's a lot of disconnects for Jewish people in churches. So we talk about the word Christ. That's a disconnect, because for centuries Jews have been persecuted in the name of Christ. There's nothing wrong with the word Christ. I can say it, Christ. But there is something wrong when it becomes a hurdle for somebody for whom that name means something other than what you may have meant by that name. So you have to think of that doesn't mean every single Jewish person sees it as a problem. Obviously not. But some, and maybe most, that's a debatable issue, do. But when that person comes in your doors, you don't know whether it's a problem word or not. So just avoid it. It's the word. What is Christos means anointed one? The word Christ, that's the Greek word. But it comes out of the Hebrew word Messiah. The reason for that is because in Greek, there's no word for Messiah. Because the Greeks did not anoint people. They anointed things. So they anointed like the leather sheaths for their swords to keep it supple. They anointed their leather-faced shields to keep it supple so that it doesn't start cracking. And then in battle, boom, it just cracks in your hand. They would oil things to keep it supple so that when a sword hit it, it would bend and absorb the shock rather than break under it. But they didn't anoint people. The Jewish people anointed people too. Prophets, priests, and kings. So when they were anointed, they used the word Mashiach. But when they put it into Greek, they said, wait a minute, we don't anoint people. The Greek word doesn't fit. So they had to make a choice. How do we convey this Hebrew idea in a foreign language that doesn't have a word for it? So they had to make a choice. They used the word that is not used the way we would use it. They used the word Christos. Today, when you talk about people, you talk to people and you say, oh, Jesus Christ. What do they think the word Christ is? A last name. They think it's a surname. We're talking about Jesus Christ. They have no idea, for the most part, that the word Christ is a title. It's not his name. It's a title. It means Jesus, the anointed one. Jesus, the Messiah. Messiah is a title. It's not a name. So we oftentimes say, oh, I'm going to worship Jesus Christ. And so we think we're calling his name. Like you would say, oh, Gary Deroshinsky. Or whatever names you want to put together. But it's not. You would say, Gary the Rabbi. Ah, no, that's different. That's not my last name. That's my title. Or Gary the Pastor. This is Jesus the Messiah. That's what Christ means. Now, if we don't have it straight, why would we expect people out there who rarely come to a church congregation or whatever to understand it? And when we're dealing with Jewish people who are 2 steps removed, I mean, growing up, I never went into a church. The first time I went into a church, I ran out immediately because the candles, the incense, and the statues freaked me out. And for most Jews, that's what they oftentimes think about, you know, or that's their experience. Not every Jewish person, and maybe not as many Jewish people on the West Coast as on the East Coast. I get all that. But the bottom line is when we read Abram, it's weird to Jews. Just need to know that. When I first was in a church and I heard him say Abram, I was like, Abram? I don't know who that is. You know, because I always heard his name as Avram. Even when we read the English. You know, I'm not just talking about Hebrew class. I'm just saying when the rabbi spoke, he'd say Avram heard the voice of God. He didn't say Abram. Because Abram is Goyish. It's non-Jewish. You know? It's an anglicized attempt to convey the Hebrew word. It's like the Jehoshaphat. You know, we say Jehoshaphat. You know, so it just hits us weird. It's not all names, but some names. Am I making some sense? Yes. Yes. This is going to happen for you. You know, you're going to start reading the biblical text. You're going to read Avram, whether you're Jewish or non-Jewish. You're going to go into a church. You're going to say Abram, and you're going to say, I got to tell the guy, man, he's not pronouncing the name the way it really is. You know, because it's not. Now, you don't have to tell a guy. I'm just kind of joking. But I'm just saying you're going to notice the disconnect because it's just like it was for me growing up. It's now going to be something special for you, you know. Just like Joseph. Well, his name is Joseph. You know, my father never called me Joseph. He always referred to me by my middle name because Gary, you know, that's not a very Jewish name. But my mother loved Gary Cooper. So he lost. But my middle name, I'm named after my great-grandfather who settled in the land of Israel. So whenever he called me, he'd say, hey, Yosef, come over here. You know, he'd say Yosef if he wanted to speak Yiddish. It was always this ye-eh, not yo-eh. It's just the way it is. So we come to this next one. Let's see if we can do just...
Is this closed and closed?
This is closed and closed. That is correct. Okay? So let's go to, now here's where it's different. And this is why I wanted to introduce you to this. The schwa here closed the syllable, right? Followed a closed syllable, so it closes the syllable. But the next word we have, whose turn is it? It is Miriam's. So the next word we have is this. Okay, everyone see that fairly well? The next word we have is different. The schwa is not in a closed syllable. It is in an open syllable. It can't be closed because all syllables have to have consonant, vowel. If we go consonant, we've got a vowel. We can't have a vowel. So our first syllable is here. Our second syllable where? After the, what's it called? After the shurik. So we have open, open, closed. We have the aleph. What's our vowel? What's our vowel? What's the name of it? Sere. Sere sounds like A, and our lamed. Now, here's the contrast. When you have a schwa in a closed syllable, what does it do? Closes it. And in effect, do you pronounce this? No. So since you're not pronouncing it, you're just making the sound of the consonant, av. It is a silent schwa. Okay? It's silent because you didn't make any sound. All you did was v, right? Av. But when it's in an open syllable, the schwa makes a sound. It is the sound like a hirik, I. So if we didn't have the shurik, if we didn't have the schwa, you would pronounce that consonant sh, no vowel sound. But because we have this schwa, we pronounce sh, sh. Everybody with me? Yes. Here it's what? Silent. You make the sound of the consonant, which is v. So it's av. Here it's in an open syllable. So it is not silent, it is vocal. It makes a sound. The sound it makes is I, like the hirik. So we're going to pronounce this first syllable how? Sh. And our second syllable is? What is our vowel? Shurik. And the shurik sounds like ooh. So our second syllable is? How do you pronounce it? Mu. So our first syllable is? Our third syllable is closed. The consonant is an aleph. What does it sound like? Silent. It's the sound of the vowel. Our vowel is a what? What's the name of it? Seri. And a seri sounds like A. And how do we pronounce this consonant, this syllable? How do you pronounce that consonant, that syllable? El. We got the lamed. What does the lamed sound like? Ol. So we have, how do you pronounce it? Okay? Okay? Shemuel. So Shemuel is Samuel. Okay? So now someone's going to say to you, you know, Samuel the prophet, and you're going to say, wait, it's Shmuel. Shmuel. That's his name. Okay? So now, so you learn, we're going to call it here. I'm going to read the rest of it for you in the interest of time. But I just want you to see, we learned a lot of things today. A lot of things. So just let it soak in, relax with it, go over your notes, have fun. Look at the video that will go up. When will it go up, Rex? By Tuesday. So by Wednesday, you can start reviewing with help. So what did we learn today? We learned about syllables Open, closed. We learned, we paid a little bit more attention to the names of the consonants, but particularly the vowels, so we could talk about things. It's really hard when you say, oh, the thing with the dot in it. You know, I mean, it gets kind of crazy, right? So the better we can say, oh, the Holam Vav, or the Kamatz, or the Seri, or the Holam, we know what we're talking about. So it's not essential to read. I would much rather you be able to read and not know the names. That's why I said, just get the sounds, don't worry about the names. But now that we're able to read, let's go back and make sure we know the names so we can talk to each other. Now, we also learned about the Shua. And we saw that there are two kinds of Shua. There's a silent and there's a vocal. When the Shua is in a closed syllable, it is silent. When the Shua is in an open syllable, it is vocal. When it's in a closed syllable, it's Av. When it's in an open syllable, it's Sh. It gives us a sound, Shemuel. Now, we're not there yet, but our next step, and then we're done with the Shua for the most part, is when two Shuas are together. The first one generally is open, vocal. The second one generally is closed. But we'll get there, and we'll read it. So let me read for you the rest of these words, and then you'll be able to practice. Okay? We had Shlomo, which is Solomon. Avram, which is Avram. Shmuel, which is Shmuel, Samuel. Then we have Av. The meaning of Av is father. So if you don't know that, write it in. Bain, son. Bain, son. The next word is machaneh. Machaneh is the Hebrew word for camp. Machaneh, camp, C-A-M-P, like the camp of Israel. Machaneh. The next word is melech. Melech, two segols, melech. Melech. That's a final kaf, final calf with the shua. Melech. What does it mean? King. Then we have shoftim. Shoftim means judges. It's a word for judges. Now the next three are called, you can write this down if you like, inseparable prepositions. We'll go over those next week. An inseparable preposition is a word is these letters added to a word that gives us a prepositional meaning to the word. Be means in, with, or by. How do we know which one to use? Context. Be means in, with, or by. So if I use the word bebayit, what does that mean?
In the house.
In a house. I haven't showed you the definite article yet. The. So bebayit would be in a house, not the house. In a house. It's indefinite. Haven't showed you the definite article the yet. We're getting there. Once we get some of these little things, we open the Bible and we're off to the races. Bebayit means, what does it mean? In a house. Okay? Ki means like, as, like, or as. So if I had the word kibayit, what does it mean? Kibayit, what does it mean? Like a house. This guy eats kibayit, like a house. Okay? Number 3. Be, in, with, or by. Ki, like, or as. Li, to, or for. Li, to, or for. So if I say libayit, you would say to a house. Bibayit, in a house. Kibayit, like a house. Libayit, to a house. Po. So on Hanukkah, a dreidel that's made in Israel will say Nes Gadol Haya Po. They have the letters for it. Nes Gadol Haya Po. What does the phrase mean? Nes Gadol Haya Po. A great miracle happened Po. Made in Israel. Where did it happen? Here. So Po is here. Nes Gadol Haya Po. When we play with the dreidel on Hanukkah, the letters Nun Pe, they're on the dreidel. A great miracle happened here. Sham means there. So a dreidel made outside of Israel will say Nes Gadol Haya Sham. A great miracle happened there. Then we have the word Ish. Ish. Ish, which is the word, means man. Next to the last word on the bottom left is Elohim, which is the word for God. And then the bottom last one is Bavel, which is the word for Babel. Babel. B-A-B-E-L. Like Babylon, Babel. Tower of Babel.
Sham, what does Sham mean?
Sham. What does Sham mean?
There.
There. Okay? All right. So work on these. The video will be up if you missed some of the translations. I want to give you one other handout. Okay? Last one. I want you to practice this. I'm going to tell you. Okay, now you're looking at this and freaking out. That's good. Because in a moment you're going to look at it and say, why did I freak out? Okay? So I'm glad. I want you to freak out. There you go. This is good. Remember, always right to left. I'm trying to help you out by putting a little English in there. Now, a couple of things you ought to see. Number one, commas provide a pause. The colon is how you will see periods in the Bible. There's no one period, it's a colon, always a colon. Now, I'm going to read the first line of this, and you're going to say, oh, I know, I see this, right? Especially if you come to service. So the first line, what's the first word? Ki. Second word?
Mitzion.
Mitzion. Third word? Tetzei. Fourth word? Torah. I forgot to put the dot in there, my mistake. Ki, Mitzion, Tetzei, Torah. Look at the next word. Somebody read it for me. Udevar. Now, when you see Yod, He, Vav, He without any vowels, what is it? What is it? It's the name of God. You never pronounce the name of God, so in place of it, you say the word Adonai. Okay? Adonai. We'll talk more about that. In the interest of time, let me just hold you there. It's the word for Lord. So back to the beginning. Ki, Mitzion, Tetzei, Torah, Udivar. Notice the shua under the dalid. Udib, because it's vocal. Udivar, Adonai, Mi, Ru, Sha, La, Yim. Everybody good? Second word? Second line? Yeah, but let me tell you something. The reason why Adela, Laura, Kai are not seeing it is because we say this every week here at our service. Okay, there you go. The second line is Baruch She-Na-Tan Torah Li-Amo Yes. Now there you see the shua is doing what? Closing the syllable so it's silent. Yes. Ra. El. Bik. Notice the shua under the kaf is closing the syllable so it's silent. Bik. Do. The three dots underneath is the kibbutz. So it's u, bik, du, sha, to. Okay? So what I want you to do is I just want you to practice struggling, agonizing to read this. Those of you who come to service here, and you all should every week, but those of you who come to service here every week, we say these liturgical prayers every week. So what I want you guys to be able to do is when the liturgy goes up on the board, you don't need to look at the English transliteration anymore. You'll look at the Hebrew, and you'll read it from the Hebrew, and before long you'll say, the transliteration up there, it's confusing me. And you know something? I never read the transliteration because it is utterly confusing to me. Because some letters in English can be a, and if I didn't know, if I wasn't able to see the Hebrew at the same time, I never know whether the a is meant or or a or what. So for me, the Hebrew is essential. I can't read Hebrew from transliteration. Now, I've never admitted that.
Yeah, because the count is the same in Spanish, A, E, I, O, U, or the German, A, E, I, O, U.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Right. In English, it can take, exactly. So what happens is you begin to memorize the sound so that the English transliteration matches it. You get used to it. What I want you guys to start being able to do is to not be dependent upon transliteration at all. So one of the things we're going to do is to learn to read the liturgy and the blessings. Like today, we said the blessing over the bread and the wine. We're going to say the blessing through the Hebrew. I want you to bring this to service. And when we do put the liturgy up there, I don't want you to look up there. I want you to look here. Put it in your Bible, bring it with you, and do it here. And before long, those of you with better voices than mine are going to be leading the rest of the congregation in doing this, and you're not going to be looking at the transliteration at all. And before long, you'll be able to translate this because you'll know what it is in English already because we always say it, but you're going to be seeing some of the words are going to match up. For example, look at the fourth word. What does the fourth word mean? And what does it mean? The Torah or the law, right? You're going to see Mi Yerushalayim. What's it going to mean? Jerusalem. The me in the front, we'll get to it, but it's from, right? You know that because it's from Jerusalem. The word davar. See the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth word in? Davar. We had the word davar. What does davar mean? Word. Word, thing, or matter. So the word, when you have a vav in front of a word, it's the conjunction and. So davar is and the word. So you can see ki, mitzion, tetzeh. Some of these things we don't know. But davar and the word, Adonai, of the Lord, mi Yerushalayim, from Jerusalem. So this is where we're headed. And you guys are, this is what, our fifth time we've met? And you're already reading this kind of stuff. And you're understanding some of its words. If you look down at the second line, first word is Baruch. What does it mean? Blessed. We just said, when we said the blessing, Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch means to be blessed. And look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth word in. Yisrael. Israel. So we're already starting not only to read it as it ought to be read in Hebrew, but we're already also knowing what some of these words mean.
So the comma means the same in this line as in English?
Yes, a comma is like a pause. So it's Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udavar Adonai mi Yerushalayim. When we sing it, we go, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki, and we repeat that line. That's it.
Appear in the early text too, or is that?
In the what?
Does that appear in early text too, or is that just?
That's right out of the Bible, Isaiah chapter 4.
No, the comma?
The commas is in there.
Okay.
I believe it's in there. I don't, but now, oh yeah, so, yes.
Are not new, they were from.
Remember, this is the Masoretic text. The original Masoretic text may not have had punctuation marks as such. They develop over time. Over time. They're still old. But now let me mention one other thing. Oh, or I did already. The colon at the end is the way to make a period. That ends the sentence or the phrase. All right? Well, I don't know where you are.
The very first line, I think the second word I was a little second.
Mitzion. What do you think Sion means? Sion. Shh. Sion. Oh. Forget the mem for a moment. Well, let's do this. What did we say me Yerushalayim meant? From Jerusalem. So now we have me Sion. What is me in the front of that word going to mean? From. What is Sion? Zion. Okay, so from Zion, the other me, Yerushalayim, from Jerusalem. So we're already getting into grammar. We're already getting into some meaning of words. We'll talk more about these things, but it's sort of making sense. Now, I want to know one last thing. Is everyone encouraged? Yes. Are you guys feeling okay? All right? So good. I don't want you to be discouraged, but I also don't want you to be unchallenged. It takes work. It takes some effort. And that's a good thing. I just started exercising again, and I'm bringing this stuff out. It looked great on the side RV section, but then I had to go sit on the thing and start pedaling it. Then I had to lay down on my bench and start lifting this stuff. So what did I do? I tried to make it fun. I just blasted my stereo and just put it out there. My neighbors are yelling at me. I said, no, I'm having fun. So what I want you to do is you look at this, you say, this is going to take work, but you know what? I'm going to have fun. And whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Same thing like the alphabet. Remember? Aleph sounds like in. Whatever it takes for you to work through this. And by the way, all of this, if you go to bethariel.org, all of these, I think all of these, are online. You can hear them. So you can have this in front and you can hear it. You know, what I want you to be able to do is to read it. And this is like familiar turf for some of us that come, so that it's not like you're reading cold turkey. You're reading with, oh, I heard this before. I heard this. I just, and you may remember what you heard before you can read it.
In me Yerushalayim,
Yes.
Is there no vowel with the yod?
That's the Hirik Yod. That's the vowel.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay? And Ron, I appreciate that. This is, when we've got compound vowels, sometimes it's hard to figure out, is it a consonant or is it part of the vowel? That's happening with the yod there, but it happens with other letters too, and we'll get there. All right, let me pray for you guys, and let me thank you for your devotion. You guys keep coming from long distances. I do not take that for granted. Please don't ever think I do. We've got, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Wolfgang, where do you and Laura live? Oh, you're in Winnetka. I've asked you that almost every time. 1, 2, 3, 4. North Hollywood. So there's 4 that are coming all the way down from Valencia. Oh, and you're way out in Moore Park. So we got people coming. I want it to be worth your while. And if it is, you can take me aside and say, look, I'm coming a long way, and I got to make this worth my while. Yeah, I'm not getting my money's worth because, number one, I'm going too fast, or I'm going too slow, or I'm not giving you enough stuff. If you want to give me that feedback, look, I'm tough-skinned enough, at least in this context, to handle it. So, but I want it to be worth your while. I want you to really benefit from it. And I appreciate all of your efforts. Do not give up. We persevere together. We go as a team over the line. No one gets left behind. Amen. Okay? So let's pray. Help one another out. If you're struggling a little bit more, get on a table where there's someone that's getting it, so that you can sit next to them and they can kind of help you with the help you might need, because I can't stop at every juncture. you know, and that'll help us get along. Also, it will help you that need the help. It will help the person helping to get even better. So this is all good. We're a team. We'll work together. What's that? What's that, Adela? Oh, I can't do it right now. I got to go up to Valencia to preach in about 3 hours. So Father, we thank you for this afternoon. We are grateful for your presence, for your love, and for your faithfulness. We thank you for this wonderful language. In many ways, it's pretty easy. In other ways, it's challenging. Help us to get through each and every part so that at the end of our season together, we'll be reading really nicely, perhaps even reading right from the Torah scroll without the vowel markings itself, and being able to even translate some of this. So, Father, may you be gracious to us. Help us to accomplish the goal that we have, to learn this language as best we can. Not the best, but as best we can. Guide and direct us, I pray. And be with us the rest of this afternoon, we ask.